Hi all, Richard at Barbour ABI here. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you're keeping well. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying a sunny day where you are. Thank you for joining us. We are going to spend about 45 minutes today talking through specifically our updated and improved platforms which have been launched over the past few weeks and months. We're going to talk about the migration process and upgrade process for customers over to the new platform, but also our efforts to make sure that that process is seamless. And we do have a special guest on the line as well, Andy Murphy, who's the Commercial Director at Hanson, who's kindly agreed to join us on the back of his interview in our community report, which hopefully some of you have read already. And he'll be able to share some thoughts and insights into that process and our service as well. Hi, Andy.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm good, yeah, thank you. You too.
Fantastic. And we've got Simon Rhodes, who's our Commercial Director for Barbour ABI on the line as well, who will be fielding some questions to Andy. Just about his experience with Barbour and his experience with the migration and upgrade process. So I do have some slides. I'm not going to bore you with them, but we have 5 short slides. Most of this is going to be concentrated on the conversation, but also a live presentation of the platform in brief as well, just to show you through the key aspects of it. So let me just share my screen again, bear with me.
Just while Rich is doing that, I'll probably show my age now, Andy, but when I first started looking after what is now the Hanson account, it was called Pioneer. So we're going, we're going back some time. I mean, you receive data in a paper format then, just ready to go in the back of the Mondeo every week.
Just for Mondeo,
just for the benefit of our clients and the audience, could you just tell us a little bit more about your role at Hanson?
Yeah, so hi everybody, I'm Andy Murphy, I'm the Commercial Director for Hanson UK. Basically, I oversee all of the company's commercial activity. So we're the country's largest producer of cement and GGBS, and we're the second largest aggregate and concrete company. In the UK, we're part of Heidelberg Cement Group, which is the world's largest quarrying company. We have about 3,600 employees. We've got about 150 external salespeople, and we operate right across the country and in all segments of the construction sector. So we have the massive contracts, places like HS2 and Sizewell and Hinckley, right down to dealing with, white van man via Dewson's pack cement sales. So we cover every conceivable base essentially, and Barbour's, really useful to us in understanding what's going on in that, pantheon of activity that exists. So yeah, we're a very large organisation, and the fact that we get that huge quantity of data is so important to us in our prospecting activities. Yeah, that's a bit about us at least.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Fantastic. And just to answer your question, 1993, I think the first contract with Hanson was signed. So through the ages, across probably all of our product ranges.
Man and boy for me.
Absolutely, yeah.
So thank you for that, Andy. We'll, I'll just share my screen and we'll go through the agenda, some topics to be discussed. So talking points is going to be, as I said, the updates and improved platforms that we've launched. There's 5 key features which span across those platforms, but actually across our services as a whole, as it always has done. So we'll talk about what those features are and how they benefit your business. We'll talk about let's get you upgraded. So if you haven't been already, some on the line may have done already, but we're here to help, we're here to support, to make sure that's as seamless as possible and make sure you get the best experience. And that's all about that positive experience, which further through the presentation we'll share some words, but also Andy will be able to speak about his experiences in the migration process. And then there will be some time for questions at the end to ourselves at Barbour, to Andy at Hanson, should you have any. So in terms of headlines for Barbour in brief, we've, since September pretty much now, all of our new sign-ups have been on our new platforms across the mobile and web. So that speaks volumes of the adoption, not just externally, but internally in our business, the adoption from our sales teams to this platform, which speaks of the ease of use and the ease of transition over to it. And our customers are benefiting as well. With those customers we've migrated so far, there's been a 26% increased usage. That's where users hadn't logged in, but now have logged in. Multiple factors involved. It may be shiny new platform, new toy to play with. Potentially it's ease of use, because that's the way we've designed the platform and that's the way we've set it out to work. Again, we talked about the positive experience, and we've had so much positivity from the webinars that I've hosted bi-monthly, which again just strike volumes from where we were in evolution to where we are now, and those kind of comments I'll share later on. And then we've also managed the migration and upgrade of several of our key accounts, including Hanson, with 100 and 200 users plus. And you can imagine the logistics around that are quite complicated, but we've managed through the support networks that we have to enable those migrations to happen seamlessly and without too much pain from the customer's end, which is fantastic. So the key features that we want to promote today really is that, number one, we want you to discover more opportunities easily. That's the foundation of Barbour ABI. It's all about work winning, new relationships, new opportunities in the industry, and an industry which we cover in great detail. And there's a flow to this. Number two is from those opportunities, it's networking with the people involved on those opportunities and finding new opportunities to expand those relationships. Three is to target your next projects and partnerships. So by creating those relationships with people in the industry, you can target your next partnerships by understanding their pipeline in more detail, which we'll show you live in a moment. The opportunity here is to do this all wherever you are. It's to stay up to date anytime, anywhere. So we've got the mobile, we've got the desktop, but also several notification actions that you can take to make sure the information is driven to you, to make sure that you're not missing out on any opportunities. And number five in this loop is to instantly access our research specialists. So while we were in the office, we would have the largest UK-based research team making over 1 million calls per year to collate and collect this. But also, you have the opportunity to ask them questions directly about your need and your opportunity on a project. And then that loops back into number one, which is finding those opportunities, because we can help you to do that. Our research team, our specialists can help you to do that. So we're going to jump on live, and then we'll have some questions at the end for Andy, just around his use and the team's use of the platform. Okay, so from first view, if you haven't seen this already and you haven't been upgraded or seen a presentation from our teams, this is the new landing page. This is where you hit when you log in. And you can see it's very much visual. We've gone for something that looks logistically more visual than Evolution ever did. It just gives you an opportunity to see where those opportunities and those projects are. And you have the map view in the middle and the list view on the left-hand side. And I'll try and explain this in view of those 5 key points that we talked about earlier. The first one of those is discovering more opportunities more easily. So we've really refined down how the search function works. So if we were looking for something like school as a keyword, you could tap that in, press enter, and it will take that through as a search term. But then we can build on that search, and we can overlay that with the word steel as an example. And then hit the or button, and actually what that will do is combine those words to find school projects where there's going to be a steel requirement, because those 2 keywords exist in that search. So at a basic level, it's very quick and easy to find your location, pinpoint that location on a map, overlay that with a word search, and there's your opportunities very quickly in that location, in that region, and within a radius as well. If you wanted to go a little bit further, you could filter, and this replaces the profiles aspect of Evolution. It will take through the keywords that you selected earlier on, but then you've got a shopping list of things that you can really select from. And that could include things like radial searches, multiple town and postcode location searches, project and regions. We're in the north, so we'll select that as an opportunity for us. Categories, including the opportunity to look at primary categories, so where that commercial and retail project is primarily commercial and retail and not other aspects, or you can exclude aspects as well. We've got development types, we've got values of projects, so you can hone in on those bigger opportunities or the smaller ones if you want to focus on that aspect of the market. A brand new frameworks filter, which is keyword based, so you can search for frameworks that you're interested in or are involved in. Flexible timelines to pinpoint a date and time on a project that you want to be involved, and stages, which are the traditional stages taken from Barbour ABI. A new build phase filter has been introduced. So you can actually, rather than looking at stages and timelines, you could look at literally projects that are on site right now as a live opportunity for you and your business. And we've omitted some results. So completed projects, abandoned on hold projects aren't included in any search results, just to tidy that view up of those opportunities and help you to get them quicker. Okay, and now we've got that search built up that we want for commercial projects in the north, over £10 million, and we've got that list on our left-hand side with on-site badges telling me how far through between the start and end dates those particular projects are. And I'm happy, so I'm going to save that search. In order to get to those opportunities from a company perspective, because this is a really great list of projects, but I want to know who the contractors are on those 309 projects. So I'm going to go back into our search, and I'm just going to go into roles and add that contractor overlay. And very quickly, it will flip that context over, and you'll see the 128 contractors specifically working on those 309 projects. I'll give that a name, and we've now got those searches set up really quickly, really easily in our saved search section for projects and for companies specifically of interest to us. And in order to really isolate where the opportunities are, particularly from a company perspective, is that if I wanted to pick on a pin on the map, say Henry Boot Construction, I could show the project pipeline for Henry Boot logistically where those projects are based for that business. And if you are in a project view, as we were before, and you click on a project, it will show you the companies working on that project, broken down by role group. So really powerful information, really quick and easy to get to those opportunities. We then go on to networking like a pro. So we've searched and created this search already. We can then go into export data and run a brand new export. And the export can run from that search that we've just created that's got a load of companies in there that we're really interested in. Okay, so this is the saved search that I set up. We can choose to do a bespoke merge if you want to. That will pull through the fields that you want to create your own bespoke report. And you can pick and choose the headings as you see fit. Alternatively, you can do a basic mail merge if you're doing marketing. You can avoid duplicates, hit next, and hit export. And you will then get contacts within those businesses, those contracting businesses, with email addresses, with a name, ready to mail merge to. So in terms of networking, you've got the opportunities there. Okay, so we're going to look at a particular project now and dive in a little bit further in terms of how we can see the people working on that project, how we can network with them. So that's what it's all about. So we'll use the Victoria development as our keyword. Okay, so we found this project we're really interested in. We can see all of the details and when we've researched it last. But if we go into roles and companies, we can start to dive into the businesses that are involved on that particular project. And it's all broken down by role group, with my favourites at the top, down to our contractors and subcontractors at the bottom. And I really want to speak to the contractor on this project. And specifically, one of the contacts' names. So we've got John Burland and Tony Grinrod. And the next level that this system provides is the ability to click into an individual and see what that individual's portfolio of projects is. So not just at a company level, but at an individual level, you can start to network and understand that person's relationships once you've built up that initial conversation. Once you've spoken to him, or if you can't speak to him and you struggle to get hold, we've got the LinkedIn logo here. So that's an API directly to LinkedIn, which will take you to that business's page where you can find John, look at the connections between your business and their business, and send them an email potentially. Or use one of your connections to connect with them that way. And if you wanted to, you could share the project, you could share this company. So to do that, you go to activities and you can create tags, you can share, you can add notes and make these leads your own as your business. And tags is really powerful because actually they are specific to your business. So it could be a product, it could be a timescale, a stage of contract, it could be an internal or external person working within your business that you can tag to and share that content out. And very quickly, they'll get a notification to their mobile and on email to tell them that you've shared this project or you shared this company or this content with them so they can access it there and then. So it's not just about networking with companies and opportunities, it's internal in your business as well. So the next thing I want to show you is that number 3 is targeting projects and partnerships. So this is all about understanding group structure, understanding relationships, understanding the construct of your industry. So the first thing we'll look at, particularly for this group of businesses, we know Vinci is huge, is the group companies. And you'll see here, even your infrastructure, who are a differently named subsidiary, will appear in the group company section. So you're building a picture of that entire business. And from there, you could take an action to watch, to favourite, to take an action on the entire Vinci group to make sure that you're not missing a project that they're allocated to, just by favouriting all of those businesses. Okay, if we go into the head office of Vinci, we've got Companies House. So in terms of understanding the businesses involved, you can look at the creditworthiness. Obviously, Vinci will be okay, you would hope. Relationships is where it gets very powerful, though, in the fact that you can look at Vinci as a contractor and look at their relationships in the industry to build up a real macro view of who's working with who in the industry. So if I wanted to look at the clients that Vinci work with, Crossrail, 13 projects together. So you can assume that this office of Vinci, in terms of this is the head office, have 13 projects on with Crossrail at the moment. And that is office by office. So you can understand not just at a head office level, but specific regional offices of Vinci and who they're working with. And if you click on that grey box, what projects they're working on too. So 2 aspects. 1 is your prospect pipeline, so who you want to work with and who they're working with. 2 is your existing customer pipeline. Are there any risks or threats creeping in terms of who's working with that business that you weren't aware of? So it's all about understanding the industry that you're working in. There's also a really simple tool here to look at the top businesses within specific role groups. So I'm going to pick on contractor again, within specific categories, within regions, and a time period of, let's say, 2 years. And we can pull up a really quick, simple, easy to get to top 50 list. How powerful is that to have in front of you from a prospecting point of view? And again, you could look at the top 100, top 250, and you can take an action to favourite the top 50 contractors in the north of England working on commercials. So you don't have to do anything else. You're watching that business and you're going to receive notifications for them. Notifications are set up in a couple of different ways to make sure that you're on top of those opportunities anytime, anywhere, as we said for number 4 in that loop. So within our settings, we can set anything that we've taken an action, favourites, tags or notes. And we can ensure that we get stage change updates. So you could favourite a load of projects at planning stages and want to know when they hit main contract awarded. We can tell you that and we can notify you of it. You don't have to do anything else. Project role. So when a specific project role is added to a project, you will get a notification if it's one of your leads that you've taken an action on. The new build phase function. So if you want projects when they reach on site phase, you can do so there. And then company updates does the same thing, but it tells you when any new project is added to one of those companies that you favorited out of that top 50 list we saw before. So you're really keeping it up to date and keeping a finger on the pulse. Second way is to set up your searches as we did before for commercial north contractors, commercial, and actually apply a notification to as many of these saved searches as you want. So you've set up your searches, you've looked at the relationships, you've understood the people, and now you're keeping an eye on the people and those projects within those searches by just setting a frequency of notifications. And all of this will be delivered to you, creating and generating a workflow through the system. And finally, just in terms of understanding more and instantly accessing our research team. So we will deliver updates through the projects and the company screen to tell you exactly what we're doing and when. Full visibility of our workforce and how we're working. But also, if you wanted to submit an inquiry on a project or a company, it's this button here, and you just submit your question. we've seen, Vince, you might be involved on project X, Y, and Z. Can you find out a little bit more? We need to know who the roofing subcontractor is on this project. Can you find a bit more detail? Lean on us so we can use our connections in the industry to help you. And then you loop back to finding new opportunities by leaning on us to use our research team. So hopefully that's given you a view of the new platform. I've tried to focus on the key aspects that have changed, or certainly the key aspects that will help you as a business to deliver what you need to. So we'll flip away from that for a minute back to Andy and Simon. I know Simon probably wants to ask a few queries about how Hanson use it at the moment.
It's good, isn't it, Rich? It's a good system.
Fantastic.
Yeah, in terms of some background for the development, that's like 2 years in the making, based on round about 1,200 individual pieces of client feedback that we gathered over the last 12 months prior to undertaking the development, and over £1 million worth of investment. But we think it's very much worth it because, as Richard alluded to, the biggest issue we know our clients have is ensuring that their sales teams engage with the products. Everyone's got so much to do, and particularly in times like this, you know, people take on new sectors, regions get bigger, etc., etc. So sometimes this can be pushed to the back of a salesperson's mind in terms of the usage. So the more obstacles we can take away in terms of making the platform easier to use, to make it feel much more like a website they use in their personal life, the better chance of engaging and seeing the value. So that's very much the premise that we built this platform on. Given your experience, Andy, how has the new platform enabled you and your sales teams to manage and engage with leads more effectively?
Well, I think on a number of levels it has. It looks a lot better than the other one. The other one was fine actually, but I think this one is a great leap forward. It's much more interactive. It looks much more modern, and I think what we've done is we've used the opportunity as a way of re-engaging the sales team that's prospecting activity. When I arrived at Hanson about a year ago, one of my observations is that we were not as proactive as we could be, and I think one of the key differentiating factors of the success for sales teams, how proactive it is. So what we've done is we've used your relaunch as a way of encouraging the team to re-engage. They're very happy to do that because we've been supported with excellent training. I mean, we managed to train our entire external sales team within about 3 weeks on the platform and transition all of them over to it. And the quality of the training, I would say to the audience, is it's fantastic. You know, it's got some really interesting collateral, and it's all delivered online at the moment because it needs to be, which actually I think in many respects just makes it simpler. And then I use one of the classic old sales management tricks, which is to publish a league table every week to show who's engaging with the platform. And it's amazing how much that drives activity. So yeah, I think in all sorts of ways, the new platform, together with a push from our own side, has helped us to get a lot more active in terms of our prospecting, and we're seeing the results of that in our market share. So it's definitely been successful.
Excellent. That's great to hear.
Fantastic. So I'll just trip over to my slideshow again. Bear with me while I share my screen. We're going to talk a little bit about data, because obviously the system's fantastic and the system does what it needs to and delivers a fantastic way to get to opportunities, but it's nothing without the underpinning data. And just a quote from Adam Valentine, who's been sort of key to the operation content of the system. He's one of the directors here at Barbour. Is the improvements in our technology behind the scenes means that we're able to take more source information from planning applications like images, elevations, plans, and we're also able to add materials to the database quicker than ever before. So what you'll see is there's an element of automation starting to come in, and there was anyway, but there's more of it starting to come in based on the new technology underpinning the new platform, which frees our research team up to do more of what we need to find that extra level of information. So, you know, that's probably a fundamental key quotation there from one of our internal directors about how this new platform has helped us, how this new technology is helping us. And it's all about more of what matters from us, the market leaders. You know, we've got the largest UK-based research team making 1 million calls per year on your behalf. We have now got enhanced information mining for richer content, and down the line, there's going to be even more added to this new platform. So it's one thing to certainly keep an eye out for in Q1 of this year. There's more confirmed timing data than ever before, because we're allowing our team to focus on the things that need that manual confirmation from those phone calls. We've got live updates throughout the day. Evolution was overnight. This will deliver you leads and information throughout the day, every couple of hours. So you've actually got information at your fingertips whenever you access the platform. And then finally, and possibly most importantly, from a prospecting point of view, is the huge quantities of consented contact information. And when I use that word consent, it's in light of GDPR, which we committed a huge amount of man hours to making sure we did the right thing. And we went down the route of consent on personal email addresses, meaning that those leads and that contact information published on our database can be used by you, our customer. And that's as simple as you can use that without any legitimate interest from your own side, because you've got it from Barbour, who are providing a consent route through GDPR.
And that's an interesting point, Rich. And Andy, we spoke about how the new platform has impacted and benefited the sales team. Have you been able to take any benefits wider in terms of into the organisation, such as marketing?
Yeah, I think that the fact that the research team provides such quick access to real quality information has meant that we've been able to engage more direct with some customers that we didn't know so much about. And once we've done that, we've been able to hit them with the full force of our own sort of marketing activity. And we send a lot of stuff to people on an individual basis. The fact that we've got their email addresses via this route is really useful. And I think, not to digress, but I think that research capability and your research team is a much underutilized resource by lots of companies. I mean, I've worked in a few businesses where that just hasn't been used. And I know that some of my team in Hanson are really bothering you guys on a daily basis with requests for information, but which comes back really quickly and timely. So I think, that's a great feature as well. So I think, the GDPR doing the right thing, as you say, is really useful. And we utilize that capability that gives us with our marketing team on a daily basis, I would think.
Fantastic. It's great.
Superb.
Jump back to the presentation briefly. So we're going to talk next about the migration process and the upgrade process that we have in place. So as we said earlier, we want to make sure that this is as seamless as possible. So we can help you to manage it. And there's two ways we can do that. We can, and this is for those who haven't upgraded already, obviously, but we can do this where we communicate to your internal team and to your management team. Anybody who's got a license can receive a flow of communication spanning 5 emails through to completion, basically telling them that it's coming, informing them of the instructions how to log in, and then on the day, what their login process is. And, in terms of login details, they don't change. It's just a slightly different link, but we can communicate that. Alternatively, if you want to do it yourselves internally and just pick a date for upgrade and migration, you can do that. And you can manage that process yourself. So we're here to support you. Communication in any of these sorts of things is key to make sure that the staff using it, that your personnel engage with it quickly, easily, and seamlessly. The other thing is to clarify is that all the valuable content you've accrued and built up can be moved across with you if you want it to be. Alternatively, it might be that this is a relaunch on a brand new platform and you clean slate it. This is up to you, and we can manage it either way for you. And then, as Andy referred to earlier, we've got all of that post-upgrade support in place to help you get the most from this new platform. So we record webinar content such as this on a weekly basis, and we've got a raft of videos that can help there. We've got product classrooms, which we run twice a week. One of our internal consultants, Lindsay Oxton, provides those, and you can just register to jump on those as and when you need to. We've got online training available with your dedicated consultant, who was an external account manager before COVID confined us to our home offices. But once we're back on the road again, we've been more than happy to arrange visits to see you where needed. And then there's day-to-day assistance. You'll all have a dedicated account manager who is there to help you day-to-day if you want to drop them an email or give them a phone call. So there's a lot of support there to help you get the most, not just from the new platform, but from our services in full. And in terms of the process, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, Rich, launching a new platform on itself, it's one of those hold your breath moments to make sure everything works. When you start migrating thousands of users, well, you can hold your breath 10 times. So we migrated nearly 160 users on the Hanson account, Andy.
Yeah.
Honestly, how painful was it for you?
Well, it wasn't painful at all. I mean, we had a education process to make sure that people understood the new platform. We then invited them to migrate themselves, which the vast majority of them did, probably 95% of them did. You always get in any population some people who cling to the old system because for whatever reason they think they prefer it. But then on a given day, we said, actually, no, that's it. We're going to migrate everyone onto the new system. And so we finally did that. We kind of drew a line and said, like, from next Monday, here's your details, and you're on the new system, on the new platform. So I think the total thing, we didn't push it. It took us about 2 months. We could have done it instantaneously, but we like to let people make their own minds up to an extent. And then in the end, rather than have a few laggards, if you like, we just switched the old system off and turned them onto the new system. And our usage has gone up by more than 26%. It's probably gone up by 100%, I would imagine, since we went from the old system to the new system. And as I say, I think that opportunity to relaunch in lots of organisations where Barbour's been present for a very long time is a useful thing. So we've used it for a number of different purposes to sort of drag our activity levels up.
That's fantastic.
You see that in the wider user base as well. Is that 26% actually is probably a low number because we've moved on since then and done lots more migrations. And we've now got 50% of our total users on the new platform pretty painlessly. And actually, the comments that we receive, I'll just share with you now about the new platform, about the first view, about people who've been using it for a little while, speak volumes for where we're at the moment. So totally transformational, a much better operating system to navigate. Mapping technology is fantastic. It was you actually, Andy, on the community interview. Very user-friendly, a massive step forward, and one of my favourites was slick, smart and sexy. That came from a lady on one of my webinars last week. So, the view of this platform on that first view is fantastic, especially when it's talked through. But I think the important thing is, and again, Andy mentioned it, is that if you've got somebody who's been used to Evolution for the 10 years it's been available, there may be that little bit of resistance, and we can help to break that. We can help to break down those barriers, and it just is about seeing the platform in action as you have done today. So that's pretty much it. I think we'll, unless Simon, you've got any more questions for Andy?
No, that's really useful, and lots and lots and lots of thanks to Andy for sharing his time today. It's great to hear that kind of feedback from a customer, and to show that we really are moving forwards in terms of making our data as accessible as possible, and also showing some of the support that sits behind the service.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I wouldn't have given my time if it wasn't worth doing. I think it's a genuinely, it is a great leap forward, the platform. The old system was fine, and we'd used it for a really long time, but this feels like something sort of special. And not only that, I think the support that, from a key account management perspective, if you like, I mean, I've said to some of our team that, we need to think about the way that we manage some of our key accounts, because your key account management with us has been really first class. The training's really good. You do what you say you're going to do. So I've nothing other than positive things to say. And most importantly, I can see it in our numbers. I can see that we're winning new accounts, that we've got better information. Knowledge is power, isn't it? And it's difficult when you're confined to barracks to see what's going on. At least we know what's going on, even if we can't see it. So.
Great, thank you.
Thanks very much. So, we've got 10 minutes or so now, just before we're due to finish. So, is there any questions from attendees on the call today for myself, for Simon, for Andy? Please feel free to ask up now while you've got us. Obviously, you can speak to us afterwards or send us queries offline, but great if we could have some queries while we're on. Okay, we must have done a really good job there.
Everyone's just stunned, Richard.
Unsilent, as you say. Just finally, any other questions while we're on the call from any of the attendees? Please feel free to ask. Safe environment, if you've got anything you want to ask about system, platform, migration, upgrade process, anything at all. Brilliant, there we go.
All contacting their account managers to get migrated, I think.
I hope so, yeah. We'll see a raft of them today. So, look, thank you everyone for taking the time today to look at this, and hopefully you've seen, you know, the plans and where we're going with our products, data, service, migration process. And if you do have any questions, you've got your dedicated account manager you can speak to. If you're unsure who that is, please reply to the invites and we'll be able to help you there. And special thanks to Andy, obviously, for joining us today and for the content shared for the interview for our community report. Much appreciated. We're glad that you're obviously benefiting from an increased usage on this platform, and we'll continue to help and support you as you need it.
No, thanks. If anyone wants to buy any cement, concrete, or aggregates, then you know where we are.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for everyone for attending. Really appreciate your time this morning. Hope you found it of use. And thanks again, Andy.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Bye for now.
Cheers.